here forever, and that you're faithful always, even when we walk away or we turn our backs, Lord, you are always here for us. And God, I just pray that as Josue comes to speak to us this morning, that you would bless his words, that you would hold him up and give him strength. I thank you so much for his safe travels here so he can share with us. And God, just open our hearts, open our ears, that we would hear your words to him today. Amen.
So it's not often that we get to hear from someone other than Todd. And Todd does an amazing job every Sunday. I love his preaching style. But it is always a blessing when we get to have somebody new come and speak with us, especially when it's somebody who's a missionary for us. Come and share with us an update. So, Josue, could you come on up here, please? I would like to introduce everybody to Josue. I got to meet this man a few weeks ago, and he has a wonderful heart for the Lord and a wonderful ministry that he performs out in Benin, Africa. And for those of you who don't know, Benin is one of the small countries in I call it the panhandle of Africa. And so I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your heart for the ministry. And everybody, please, he has a lot of great insight and a lot of great things to say about his ministry. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And good morning, church. I'm so glad to be here today and to share with you what God is doing with us in Africa. But for that, I want us to pray once again. Father, I just want to say thank you for this time and for this opportunity you are giving us to come so near to you and to listen to you. I pray that you will open our spiritual ears and give us insight. Let us move from this room with the desire to do more for you, with the desire to reach out more for you, with the desire to let you know to those who are around us and who don't know you up to now. Praise you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm Josue from Benin. You all know me. Almost everyone knows me here. And I bring you greetings from my family and also from Africa. I'm from Benin. Benin is a small country, one of the small countries in the world. That's my family, by the way. And Priska is my wife. I have 3 kids, Gideon, Isaac, and Glory. And by God's grace, in about 24 hours, I'll meet them again. Oh, here we go. That's Benin. God's good. God is good. That is Benin. Move on. My journey with the Lord started in 1989 when my country went through a political crisis. Everything will collapse. And I have told this story many times. And then my mom decided to send my brothers and myself to Togo so that we can pursue our studies. Once there, in the school I was in, I received one day a team from Youth with a Mission. They came and they performed dance and drama. Even though I used to go to church, not because I want to, but I have to. Every Sunday, I have to go to church. That's how I was raised. And then that day, one of the team members of YM went forward, preached the gospel, and for me it was the very first time to hear, to understand that to be saved, I need to give my life to Jesus. And he made the altar call, I went forward, and I gave my life to Christ. That's how the whole journey has started. And they took me in for 2 years, and they discipled me. Every day I have to go to them. They taught me how to pray. They taught me how to meditate the Word of God, so that I can grow. And then after those 2 years, we went back home. And with the school I was in, when we went back home, I found out that there was a club of young people who met once a week to pray and to study the Bible. Then I joined them. It was a Youth for Christ club in my school. And for the first year, I have been a club member. The second year, they asked me to become the club leader. The third year, they asked me to become the coordinator of Youth for Christ ministry in the main city of my country. And I know, for every one of us here, God has put a seed of greatness in our heart, in our life. And sometimes, because of the challenges of life, we believe that we cannot achieve anything. We believe more in our failure than in our potentialities. We believe more in our obstacles. When we encounter obstacles, we believe more in those obstacles instead of what God can use us for. I want to tell you today that your presence on earth is not a mistake. It's a well planned by God. You are here for a purpose. And every one of us have to discover what is the purpose for which you have sent here on earth. God has helped me somehow to discover the purpose for which He has sent me here on earth, and He led me to get to know Him so that I could be able to achieve that purpose. Then when I went back home, I started the youth ministry. I went to the university after, and I got my degree in vet science. I have been trained as a veterinarian. When I got my degree, I was looking for a job. I have my own plan. I want to become the best vet of my nation. But I knew that for that plan to be fulfilled, I need to submit it to God. Then one night, I decided to pray. And while I was praying that night, the Lord came to me. The Lord visited me. And He told me, I want you to join the ministry full time. I said, no, Lord. No, Lord. Not now. I have a plan. I have a plan for my life. And we all like to plan our life. We like to plan stuff for our life. And sometimes we plan so well that we even forget God about our planning. We are so busy, so focused, so involved in our own plans that we forget about God. What's the plan of God for you today? What's the plan of God for you this year? What's the plan for God for you in the 5 next years? What's the plan of God? Are we taking time to seek His face to know about His plan for us? Are we just being busy to achieve our own plans? We are not here we are not here for ourselves. We are on mission for God. And we cannot achieve that mission unless we know the plan He has laid ahead of us. And then that night he came to me and he said, no, I want you in the ministry. I said, no, Lord, I have a plan. I want to go and work. I have a degree. I want to go and work. But he said, no, now you have to join the ministry full time. And I can tell you, it was painful. It was painful. When God wants to take control of stuff in our life, it's painful to give it to Him. And I cried the whole night. I cried, and I cried. But I knew that the best for me was to surrender myself to His will. Then at the end I said, Lord, I'm ready. Send me where you want. Use me for whatever you want. In that same night, I got a vision of people of my nation who were crying for help. But I didn't understand what it means. Then after I joined the ministry, they asked me to become the National Director of Youth for Christ, and I took on that responsibility. And I did that for 10 years. And after that, they asked me to become the coordinator of Youth for Christ Ministry for overseeing the YFC, the Youth for Christ Ministry in 7 French-speaking countries of West Africa. And I did that too. But I didn't forget what God showed me that night. And sometimes we are so busy in life that we forgot what God has told us. We are so busy, to fill our life, so busy to do stuff that we completely forgot what God has told you many years back. What God has assigned to you many years back. We just let it aside. It's so easy to forget. But I remember that the Bible says that Mary keep in her heart what Jesus had told for many years now. She was remembering about this stuff. And we should be doing that. What did God told you to do many years ago? And you're still there. Doing that wrong. Sometimes you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand that you have already led the way He wants you to go. And then I knew that I have to do something for Him. He called me for a purpose. He called me to do something. And I remembered about that dream, but I didn't understand exactly what it means. Until God asked me, the Lord asked me to start planting churches. Then in 2002, we planted our first church. Up to 2010, we have been able to plant only 2 churches. But now, I can see, I can testify, I can say with a lot of confidence that He has really a plan ahead of us. And He wants to use every one of us for a purpose, a glorious purpose on this earth. And today we have planted about 48 churches, just from 2010. Why? How? I cannot tell. I cannot tell. What I know, that up to date, so many people have given their life to Christ. So many people have heard about Jesus. And so many people have reconciled their life with God. We are here for a great news. You are not a failure, even if you have failed. You are not a failure. He didn't make you a failure. You are more than conqueror. Because the winner is working on your side. You are working side by side. He is with you. He promised not to forsake us. He will be with us. No matter what situation we will find ourselves in, He's still with us and He will stay there for us. And for me to help my people back home to be saved, we started planting churches. And here is the context in which we are living. We are the only one country in the world which have a public holiday for idol worship, January 10th. It's a public holiday to worship idol. We are the only one country in the world which have exported idol worshiping to other nations through slave trade. We are only one country in the world in which the idol worshiping, witchcraft, voodoo will be passing on from generation to generation. By the way, if Christ didn't save me, today I'll be an idol priest in my country. Because my grandfather is an idol priest. And that is supposed to be passed on from generation to generation. But praise God. Praise God, I'm saved. Praise God. Not only I'm saved, but He has called me and sent me to save others. To be a light in the darkness. To be a light in the darkness. And I believe that He has also something great for you. Your age doesn't matter. Your age doesn't matter. You could be young, you could be a boy, a small boy, you could be an adult, you could be a senior. Your age doesn't matter. God can still use you. He can still use you. If you can just make yourself available. He can still use you. So mightily, so powerfully. But we know that He doesn't want only to save us, but He wants us, please, to have a better life, to live in a good condition on earth. In Africa, for those who have been in Africa, you have seen what the word poverty means in Africa. People are dying just for nothing. People are dying from preventable diseases. People are dying because of the lack of hygiene also. And we knew that as a church, we have also to do something. We are called not only to care for the souls, but we are also called to care for the human being. Because our God cares for the whole man. He cares for our souls, but He cares also for our physical conditions. That's why through our evangelism strategy, we try not only to preach the gospel, but we try also to help our people to improve their living condition. We have the medical outreach that we organize to bring the gospel to them, but also to treat them because they don't have any medical facility. Here, I have heard that for every 30 person, you have one medical doctor. But back home, you have one medical doctor for 1,000 people. In many villages, people have never been to consult any medical doctor. The only one presence of help they have is the sangomas or the witch doctor they can go to ask for help, even if they are sick. But in such condition, what can we do as a church? We know that within the church, you have the medical personnel. Then we challenge them to volunteer the time, just 3 days a year, to volunteer the time, to go with us in the villages and deliver medical services to our people. That's how we have been able to plant so many churches so far. We also understood that we are not called to plant churches. We are called to make disciples. Our calling is not to plant churches. We are called to make disciples. But we cannot be disciples if we are not able to read our Bible, to read the Bible. That's why we give them the literacy training to help them to grow by reading, by studying the Word of God. We also help them somehow by providing safe water where there's no safe water. We are helping them to fix the well when they are broken somehow. We are helping them also through microloans that we are giving them because we know that God is all about it. It's all about it. Back home we have people who are in needs, but I believe that here too you guys have people who are in needs. You have around you people who are suffering. You have around you people who need you. That's why we need to seek those people and show them the love of God. We are also training leaders because we know that they are the ones making decisions which will impact their entire country. Leaders. Everything falls on leadership. That's why we intentionally trying to reach out to them, to train them, to raise them, so that they can stand for what they believe. We believe that God's still calling some Josephs. God's still calling some Daniels who will stand for Him in the political arena and proclaim that Jesus Christ is there. And proclaim that we need to stand for justice. We need to stand against corruption and so on and so on. And we are doing that at home too. Asking our people, those who have called for such ministry, to go for it. Because for many years, we have been told that politics is dirty. But we don't need to go there, it's too dirty. There's so much corruption over there. Who is going to change it? It's not the church. Who is going to bring light in politics? It's not the church. So every one of us, each one of us, have been called for something. Go and find it. Go and find what you have been called for and live for it. It will give glory to God. Amen. So that's what we are doing back in Africa. Helping our people to find their way back to God, preaching the gospel, but also helping the young people to get a better education. Back home, what education looks like is we have in one classroom 120 kids for just one teacher. 120 kids for just one teacher. Some don't have even benches to sit on, to write. That's how they are taking notes. There's no table, no benches. but they have hunger for knowledge. They want to learn, they want to know. And in such condition, we cannot have good results. That's why 6 years ago, we stepped in education. We started a school. Because we want to give the best to our people back. God never gave us something. He gave us the best of what He has. And that's what have grown since then. Now we have about 70 kids attending every day, learning about Christ. We are teaching them about Christ. We are sowing seed in their heart so that one day God will use them also to bring transformation to our nations, to bring peace on earth, to expand His kingdom. We notice that among those kids, we have also disabled kids. Back home, they are considered as cursed. They are useless. There's no need to invest anything on them, but they still got creatures. God still loves them. That's why we open our school for them, so that they can come also and learn and be educated and go to school, live their dreams they have for their life. We are trying our best to teach them not only in French, which is the official language of the country, but also in English and the sign language, because they need to learn. One of the volunteers we have since 3 years who is working with us. So basically, that's what we are doing back home. God is using us to impact our people. He is using us to help our people, not only to find life in Christ, but also joy in Christ. Amen. He is using us, and He can also use you wherever you are. Not only for people to find life in Christ, but to find also joy in Christ. Even though we are poor, we are joyful. Even though we don't have everything we need, we are grateful. Because we have learned that our God can provide for our every single need. No matter how big or how small they are, He can provide. I want to move quickly to the book of Genesis. Genesis 30, from verse 22. How much time do I still have? We go back home, we can pray for 2 hours. But I cannot do that here. Yes. Genesis 30, from verse 22. Then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. God remembered Rachel. And the question that I asked myself, did He forget about Rachel? Why here the Bible say that God remembered about Rachel? Sometimes we feel like God have forgotten about us. Even though we have prayed, and there's nothing happening. So we feel like, oh no, God for sure forgot about me. I want to tell you today, He didn't forget about you. He's working for your case. He's still working in your case. Even though you are not seeing nothing, He is working. And once He will finish what He was doing with sure, just be patient. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, God hath taken away my disgrace. Oh, what can I do? God had taken away my disgrace. She named him Joseph and said, may the Lord add to me another son. Joseph means the increase from Jehovah. God has increased. And Joseph came in the life of his father at the moment when he really needed increase. He was facing challenges. He was serving his father-in-law. And he has served him for many years. Now he wants freedom. But for all those many years, his wife had never conceived. Not only his wife had never conceived, but he also wanted freedom. And then God sent Joseph right there, right in that moment, for a purpose in his life. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, send me on my way so I can go back to my own homeland. Give me my wife and children, for whom I have served you, and I will be on my way. You know how much work I have done for you. But Laban said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. He added, name your wages, and I will pay them. Now he wants to be gracious. After Jacob has served him for many years, he just wants now to show appreciation. He wants now to share with him. And sometimes we feel like, okay, life is not fair with us. Life has been so unfair for many, many things, for many reasons, for many years. But there's a time where the situation you are going through will not be there anymore. A new season will open up for your life. A new season will open up for your career. A new season will open up for your family. A new season will open up for your destiny. And then Jacob said to him, you know how I have worked for you and your and how your livestock have fared under my care. The little you had before I came has increased greatly, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I have been. But now, when may I do something for my own household? When can I fly with my own wings? When can I have my own stuff? When can I my own? And that's a big question in life for every one of us. We want something for ourselves. We want something for our own. We want our homes. We want our cars. We want. It's a good question. But remember, someone was born who was supposed to bring increase in his life. The presence of Joseph in the life of Jacob was the source of increase. God wants to increase him. That's why he sent Joseph. God wants to bless him. God wants to expand him. God wants to increase him. That's why Joseph came. That's why Joseph was so precious for him. But for Joseph to live out his life, he had to take off 4 coats. For Joseph to fulfill his destiny, he had to take off 3 coats and put on 1 among those 4 coats. The first coat was the coat his dad made for him, the coat of many colors, the coat of proud, the coat who make him so proud. You know, he was so proud of being such a loved son of his father. His father loved him so much. And each one of us, we are like Joseph. We have in our life a kind of proud. There's something we are proud of. Each one of us. There's something in our life we are all proud of. And God sometimes wants to take that thing like he did for Joseph. He took the coat of many colors, for which Joseph was proud, and he caused his brothers to be jealous. He took that coat. When we read in Genesis 39, from verse 10. Genesis 39, from verse 10. And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even with her. After the coats of many colors of proud had been taken away, Joseph went through many trials, and finally he found himself in the house of Potiphar. And when he went to the house of Potiphar, he put on another coat, a coat of servants. He had to serve. A coat to serve. That God gave him a name and a position in the household of Potiphar. And one day, the wife of Potiphar came to him and asked him to go to bed with him. While we are serving the Lord, there will be a lot of temptation out there waiting for us. A lot of challenges waiting for us. A lot of things to compromise our callings. A lot of things to compromise our work with the Lord. A lot of things to set us back in our communion with the Lord. We need to be careful, brothers and sisters. Even though he was serving, and his service was bringing blessings to the household of Potiphar, the enemy still targeted him. Even though you are succeeding in whatever you are doing, for yourself or for the Lord, don't forget that the enemy is still targeting you. You're still a target for the enemy. His goal is just to stop you. His goal is to stop you. Don't forget about that. You're still a target for the enemy. He always wants to shoot you. He always wants to set you back, as he did for Joseph. But Joseph understood one thing. Whatever situation I will find myself in, I will never compromise my identity. I know where I came from. I know who I am. I know which kingdom I belong to. I will never compromise my identity. I prefer to let aside that code instead of compromising my own identity. Are you compromising your identity? Are you compromising your identity? Did you forget where you came from? Did you forget the kingdom you belong to? Please, brothers and sisters, let's not compromise who we are. We belong to Jesus. We belong to the kingdom of heaven. We are ambassadors of Jesus on this earth. Please, let's not compromise who we are. And then Joseph, he preferred to give away the coat and to keep his identity. And then after, he found himself where? In prison. Things will get better. Things will get better. Even though they are not getting better, Joseph was working toward his destination. Sometimes difficulty helps us to go where God wants us to go. Sometimes problems help us to stay connected to Him. And He's still using that to keep us connected to Him. He still uses those difficulties. For us, it's too difficult. It's too strong. I can no more bear it, Lord. But He's still using it to find us. As bold, we have to go to fire. You have to go to fire. So that what you have put in us will come out. And then Joseph went in prison. He found himself in prison. And even though in prison, he's still serving. He's still serving. He's still using the gifting he had received from the Lord. And then they gave him another coat as a prisoner. At every stage of your life, you have a coat. At every stage of your life, you will have a coat to put on. But that coat should never compromise your own identity in Christ. That coat should never compromise your own identity in Christ. Even though he put on the coat of a prisoner, he's still Joseph. He's still the dreamer. He never forgot about the big dream that God gave him since the beginning. He knew that he was called for something bigger than himself. And each one of us, we have been called for something which is bigger than ourselves. Don't forget about it. And then one day in the prison, something happened. He gave the meaning of the dream of his to one or two of his co-prisoners, and they're all set free. But one of them, by the way, the meaning has been fulfilled somehow. Then one of them, one day, one of the prisoners had been used by God to remember about Joseph. And I want us to go quickly in the book of Genesis 41, verse 14. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon when he had shaved and changed his clothes. They took him out of prison, gave him a good bath, they shaved him, then they changed his clothes again. When the time of sorrow will be over, the coat of sorrow will be removed from your life. When the time of tears will be over, the coat of tears will be removed from your life. When the time of difficulties will be over, the coat of difficulties, what that identify you because of the situation we are going through, will be removed by God himself. He's still working. He's still working. Even though you are not seeing nothing, God is still working. In the prison, Joseph didn't see nothing. For him, he was forgotten in the prison. But his God still working. Then one day, he had been called out, set free, and the coats he had put on in prison had been removed from his life. Then another coat was put on, he put on another coat. In Genesis 41, verse 42, please. Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes and fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. The dream had many years ago had been fulfilled. It may take time. It may take time. What he has told you may take time. What he has promised you may take time. But it will be fulfilled. Because any word that came out of his mouth must be fulfilled. What did God told you? Since you keep it. What did God told you? We like to come to church to sit and to listen to the sermon. We go back home, then we are busy with life. We came back again. What did God told you? Don't walk like a blind man. Don't walk like a blind man. He has told you something. If you don't know, you can go back to him. He will tell you again. So I just want to challenge each one of us to find out what God has told you for your presence on earth. You are not just passing by. We are not just passing by. We have been sent here for a purpose. What did he tell you? When he was sending you here on earth, go and find it out. God bless you. Father, I just want to thank you for today. Words that have been close. I pray that you may help each one of us to find clearly what the purpose of our presence on earth. We are not here to occupy the land. We are not here to waste time. We are here to achieve something for you. We are here on mission for you, God. And help each one of us what that mission is all about. And help us also to stand firm. goes from right and left, from everywhere. Things are pressing on us. And sometimes we lose focus. Sometimes we forgot what we are here for. Sometimes we are not even living for what we believe. Father, hear our cry today. And come and help each one of us. Those who need to be reconciled with you, Father, I just want to pray for them. That you may help them to stand again. Whatever the fall may be, help them to stand again. To push, to continue the race. Lord, I pray for your wisdom. I pray for your help. I pray for your courage. I pray even for your power to be able to fight against the fight of our faith. The enemy who is always targeting us, who wants to stop us, Lord, give us the ability to stand firm. And thank you, Lord, for your word that will bring restoration in our life. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.